Yo, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So today, have I got an exciting video for you guys today. Today we are going to be doing a tail list. Tail list of what? Shows. So if you didn't already know, I'm a huge show fanatic, and today I picked a couple shows from the list of shows I've watched to rank them on a tail list. This is gonna be a controversial one, and some of you guys are gonna roast me in the comments, but this is my opinion. So when ranking these shows, I'm not gonna be biased at all. I'm gonna tell you the truth, where I'm gonna place them and why I placed them there. And also I will tell you what could have been changed in the show to maybe place them higher. So if you don't know what the tail list is, this is a tail list. So we've got S, I don't know what S stands for actually. Superb, spectacular. Basically it's the best one on the list. So whatever show I put there is basically amazing, and you should, if you haven't watched it, you should watch it. Then we've got A, B, C, D, E, F. It goes down, the lower it is, the worse it is. So start off, we're gonna go with Breaking Bad. If you guys haven't watched Breaking Bad, then I don't know what to say to you guys. Breaking Bad is phenomenal. What can I say? The cinematography, the character development of Walter White, from going from a chemistry teacher to this drug lord, is insane. The relationship between Jesse and Walter White is amazing too. This is honestly a masterpiece in my opinion, and I am literally putting this high above on the list of AS. Honestly, this show couldn't go anywhere else other than S. Every single episode was something else, and the villains, especially Gus Fring, phenomenal. And don't even get me started on the acting. So I can't put this anywhere else lower than S. It's just superb, spectacular, whatever you want to call it. Alright, moving on to the next show, we have The Walking Dead. Okay, this is gonna be a controversial one, because The Walking Dead, although I love it, absolutely, I'm so into this show, but it did go downhill a bit. Like, come on, I know some of you The Walking Dead fans love this show and you will protect it at all costs, but I have to be honest, seasons 1 to 7 was insane. Negan being introduced as a villain was amazing. The governor was amazing. The villains are spectacular, but after Rick left the show, honestly, it went a bit downhill, especially season 8, in my opinion. I don't think Rick should have left the show this much. Like, he should have came back at least for 3 lost seasons, but he left. Like, the main character leaving the show does hurt. It happened in so many shows, and plus there was so many characters that were killed off. One of them being, one of my favorites, is Carl Grimes, which had so much potential to be one of the best and take on Rick Grimes' shoes. I think Carl Grimes would have been way more savage and menaced than Rick Grimes, if you ask me. So honestly, as for this show, I would put it at S. I would honestly put it at S, but I have to bring it back at A. I have to put it at A because some seasons did let me down. As a show that went on for 11 seasons, honestly, it's an amazing show. The character development is insane, especially Carol's. I love Carol. She's one of my favorite female characters. Her going from a woman being abused by her husband to now one of the menace that killing zombies everywhere, killing anyone she sees. Like, she's protecting that group, whatever it takes. So I have to put it at A though. It can't go anywhere below A. It's a phenomenal show, but I just couldn't put it anywhere near Breaking Bad. In my opinion, Breaking Bad is better than The Walking Dead. Alright, moving on to the next show, we have The Flash. Alright, what can I say? I love The Flash. It went on for 9 seasons. I was watching this since season 1 when it first came out, so I've been watching this for a decade. So where would I place The Flash? So if we're talking about first 3 seasons alone, I'll put it honestly A or S. But the later seasons honestly went downhill, and the CGI especially was terrible in the later seasons. And the story was went out of hand a bit. But the first 3 seasons was amazing. Honestly, The Flash, I will place overall as a show, I'm gonna place a C. It's good, but it could have been better in my opinion. Alright, moving on to one of my horror shows of all time. It's Haunting of Hill House. This show is phenomenal. The plot twist at the end is insane. I'm gonna put this straight at S. There's literally no explanation needed. It's one of the best shows I've watched. It's a 10 out of 10. The characters, the casting was perfect. Victoria Peretti did an amazing job. Her acting is insane, and I'll watch anything she's in. Alright, moving on to one of the most hated shows. We've got Riverdale. Oh, where can we start with this one? Riverdale, honestly, I loved season 1 and 2. If we're talking about season 1 and 2, I'll put it a B. Honestly, it was a sick show. But late in the season, especially season 3, we saw a flying baby at one point, and then we saw them as, I haven't watched season 6 or 7. Season 6, I think they had superpowers, which I don't know what happened to the universe. Then in season 7, they're 1950s or somewhere in the past. I don't know what happened to the show. In season 1 and 2, there was a huge plot twist of Betty's dad being the masked killer. I love season 4 too, with the Stonies storyline and the trash bag killer with Cooper's storyline. But other than that, season 3 with the farm, the flying babies. Honestly, for this show, I have to put at E or maybe D. I'm gonna put at E. It can't go anywhere higher. Like if I'm talking about the cast alone, it's gonna be like top tier because I love the cast. I love Lily Reinhardt. I love Cole Sprouse, and Madeline Petch. But right now we're not talking about the cast. We're talking about the show itself, and I can't be biased. The show was good since seasons 1 and 2, but it went way downhill and it has to go at E. I can't put it any higher. Alright, the next show I'm going to be talking about is Stranger Things. Season 4 was a masterpiece, honestly, if you ask me. I think we have to put Stranger Things at S tier too. Like, whoever doesn't agree of Stranger Things being S tier needs to check themselves, because Stranger Things was phenomenal. From season 1, 2, 3, every season was amazing, but season 4 topped it off, and I can't wait for season 5. There's so many theories going around. Vecna was an insane villain. The storyline's amazing. The characters I love, especially, and it has one of the most beloved characters of all time, Steve Harrington. So I can't put this any lower than S. I'm gonna put it at S. So let's move on to the Vampire Diaries. This was honestly one of the first shows I've ever watched when I first got into shows. And honestly, Vampire Diaries, I love the Vampire Diaries, but the spin-off was much better than the originals. I haven't put it into this list. I'll make a part 2 and maybe add the originals, but the Vampire Diaries was good. I loved Stefan and Damon's brothership. Although I managed to get through, some seasons were really bad. So honestly, I have to place Vampire Diaries maybe a C too. And the show got insanely good after the originals were introduced in season 3. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna put a B. Yeah, it's above Flash, but yeah, Flash went downhill actually. So yeah. Next up, we have Teen Wolf. Now, these two fandoms compete with each other so much, Teen Wolf and the Vampire Diaries. And I'm here to tell you guys which one is better. Honestly, the Vampire Diaries and Teen Wolf go hand to hand. I'm gonna put the Teen Wolf at B as well. They go hand to hand. The Teen Wolf has one of the most beloved characters as well, Styles Stilinski. The storyline's not very that fascinating, but it is a really good show. Don't get me wrong, I'm placing at B, but B is not that bad. Come on, guys. Alright, S is amazing, but Teen Wolf, we can't put Teen Wolf at S. Come on, we can't be. Teen Wolf is not better than The Walking Dead or Stranger Things. It's in par with Vampire Diaries. We have to agree on that. The Vampire Diaries and Teen Wolf are two shows that are very similar. They're not one of them is not better than the other. They're both in the same place. So I'm gonna put them at B. But if you guys disagree, tell me in the comments which one you guys think, Vampire Diaries or Teen Wolf. Next up, let's talk about Cobra Kai, one of our favorite Netflix originals. I'm glad this show didn't get cancelled, because I remember it was going to get cancelled in season 2 or 1 after YouTube cancelled it, but Netflix took it on. I'm glad Netflix did that. Netflix, for once, did the right thing, and because this show is phenomenal. Although, okay, some people are going to get pissed off at me because it's cringy, but yeah, some scenes are cringe, but what, so what? Like, okay, it's nostalgic, so what? The characters came back, and honestly, they did an amazing thing. Kreese came back, they're bringing every single character back. It's an amazing show, and honestly, I'm gonna put Cobra Kai, I'm gonna put an A. Yes, I'm gonna put it above Teen Wolf and the Vampire Diaries. I just love Cobra Kai. I know I said I'm not gonna be biased, but it's a really good show. If you actually get into the show, you would actually love it. Yeah, I can't wait for season 6. So many theories are going on. Next up, let's get into some Korean shows. If you haven't watched the Weak Hero Class 1, 3 students that become friends. One of them, he thinks he's not a part of the group anymore, so he joins bullies, and then all sorts of things happen. They fight, he gets him beaten up, he ends up in the hospital, the other one gets revenge. This was honestly one of the best shows I've watched. It's a 10 out of 10. I'm gonna put this high on A. I'm gonna put A. And before we get to the next one, I wanna say like Koreans do some amazing shows. If you haven't still gone into like K-dramas, then you definitely should, because I've watched so many, and Weak Hero Class 1 is definitely one of the best ones to start off with, because it's only 8 episodes and it gets into the action straight away. Alright, next one we're going to be talking about is a fan favorite, Outer Banks. You know, the aesthetic of it and the friend group and everything, the pogs, phenomenal. What can I say? But honestly, season 3 didn't feel as lit as season 1 and 2. I will probably place this at B too, man. B, it has to go at B as well. I can't place Outer Banks above Teen Wolf and the Vampire Diaries. I just can't. It is a good show, but it's a kind of basic if you ask me. It is basic, come on. It's just a group friend that's going after a treasure. Alright, next let's talk about my favourite show of all time, The 100. I'm not going to be biased. Although it's my favourite show, I'm going to place it at C. So if we're just talking about seasons 1 to 4, I will 100% place it at like A. But the last 3 seasons was just a letdown, honestly. Bringing in the chips at the back of the head, Ali, all of this new world, leaving the earth, it just went downhill a bit. So I think C is an appropriate place to place it. So let's move on to a Marvel show, one of my favourite Marvel shows out there, WandaVision. So many of you are going to be disagreeing with me, but honestly, WandaVision could be one of the best shows on Marvel have ever created. Apart from like, I think Loki's a better show. WandaVision, I'm gonna place a high. I'm gonna place a B. Alright, next up we have Legacies. I'm just gonna put a D maybe? D, or even next to Riverdale. I'm gonna put it right next to Riverdale. Whereas the originals and the Vampire Diaries based on the vampires and werewolves and all that, like they introduced dragons, all sorts of different creatures. The characters too wasn't really fascinating in the show. The only episodes I loved is when characters from the originals came back, like Rebecca and Marcel. Honestly, them episodes was amazing. Next up, let's talk about one of the Netflix originals, Ginny and Georgia, which is yet to be confirmed for a season 3. There's so many unanswered questions for season 3, like who called the cops on Georgia, because the only one who saw is his son, Austin, but I think there was everyone's predicting there's cameras in the house, but I guess we're gonna see. But the first 2 seasons, the storyline everything's amazing about the show. I love it, and honestly, I'm gonna place it at B. Alright, last but not least, the show we have is Squid Game. Now, this is one of the K-dramas that came out, I think 2 years ago. We're still waiting for season 2. Season 1 was phenomenal. It's one of, I think it is the biggest watched show on Netflix, most watched show on Netflix. Honestly, I know some of you are going to disagree with me, but I'm going to place this high above. I think maybe A. I don't understand when people say overrated on a show. It's overrated for a reason, because it's good. People watched it because it's good. It had a huge impact on... I saw this show took over my whole TikTok page and Instagram page. It's literally one of the best shows I've watched. It's definitely going at 8. And I place it this high because the story was unique, the characters was amazing, and it had a huge emotional impact. Like, you know, Ali dying from only 1 season, it had a huge impact, and I loved it. I'm gonna put it at A. So that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Where would you guys place these shows? I know this is going to be a very controversial video, and I'm already ready for the comments. But where would you place it? What would you change in this list? And what would you want to see in this part 2 if I make a part 2? What shows do you want me to rank next? That is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications, and I will see you guys in the next video.